Welcome to One with the Other Way, a podcast about your journey and finances. We have Peggy with us today, and this is a fun episode. We're talking about pets, and this is coming from two pet owners ourselves. What's your dog's name, by the way, Peggy?
Maggie, sweet Maggie.
We'll put, maybe I'll get
baby.
some pictures, and I'll just post our pictures of our dogs. So you have Maggie on your side, and you got Darcy on our side. Darcy is a lovable fluff ball. So, yes. And we love our pets, the Finances for Life. So if you are a dog owner and you want to just send us a picture of your dog, you can totally do so at our email at office@financesforourlife.com. Hinako,
Cats too. Guinea pigs,
cats too,
rabbits.
Yes. Hinako, if you know her, she is obsessed with pets. So she would love to see your pets. So getting into this one, if you're considering about getting a pet, if you already have a pet and you just want to be able to better forecast what to expect with cost, this is that episode. So Peggy, let's kind of go into this. What should you expect when you're getting a pet, first of all?
Well, I think that people really need to think about before they get a pet. Pets are not impulse buys, and do not, please, 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 do not give anything that breathes or eats as a gift, right?
I totally agree.
It's not a gift, right? You are giving somebody else a big expense, and make sure that you know. I mean, if you really want to do it, like if you're grandma and you really want to give a dog to your grandkids, well, first you need to have the discussion with their parents. Were they already planning to do it? What's the expenses? Or do they have what they need? So I think that things that people forget, first of all, I am a firm believer that if you get a dog or a cat or any pet, it's your responsibility for its entire life.
Yeah.
Our shelters are full of pets that, I understand that there are times when you have to make a choice, and there are times when you don't have a choice and the pet ends up in the shelter. So what you need to think about when you're getting a pet, and what we do as financial advisors to help you through the pet expenses. We budget, we put it in your cash flow, pets, and we put a monthly expense. And there actually are numbers. So just so you know, right now, the average cost of a dog, right? We're just going to use a dog. For the average annual cost for a dog for its care is $700 to $2,500 per year.
It's a big variance.
Yes. But we'll get to those variances in a minute. But this is even going to be more surprising to you, maybe. I don't know. You did get a dog, so you probably won't be that surprised. The first year of your pet is between $1,400 and $4,000.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Right. So, okay. So you get the animal. Let's just use a shelter pet, right? So you get an animal from the shelter. Luckily, there's some things that come with that, right? You get the animal from the shelter. It may not be a puppy. So, it might have... when you take it out, it will be up to date on all of its shots, right? When you get it from the shelter. And then our shelter is like $125, right? And then that includes the annual cost of licensing. Okay, so that's that. Wow, that's easy, right? Well, yeah, except then you have to have food and toys, and your pet needs a bed, and where's your pet going to sleep? And is your pet going to
train them?
Special, right? You got to train them. Your pet's going to need something outside. Is your yard fenced? Is it fenced good enough that your pet is not going to get out, right? And so you have to check that and do repairs on your fence. You may have to buy a kennel. We had to buy a kennel for our dog. We had a perfectly good fenced yard, nice big backyard. Every time we left this dog alone, we would come home and she would be within a day vomiting. And I don't know. It was insane. She would find things in the yard. One time we came home and there was a gutter nail. Gutter nails are like this.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
In the middle of the yard. We're like, where did this even come from? She had found it somewhere on the side, underneath the shed. I don't know. And it was in the middle of the yard. So for her safety, we had to buy a kennel. And so we had a 4-foot by 8-foot kennel that when we would leave the house, we would have to put her in that kennel for her safety. So those are all expenses in the first year, right? If you get a puppy, there's additional expenses of spaying or neutering. And then there's all the shots. There's just different exams that your pet has to have.
Puppies usually have more sensitive stomachs. They get sick more often.
Right. And then the food things and how much it costs for food. That's another expense, and special diets. And if your dog has allergies, then you have allergy medicine, you have flea medicines. It's just Pets are absolutely amazing. There's a lot of research on how much pets add to our lives. And I could say that. I mean, I just love Maggie. I love her so much. She makes me laugh every day
Mm-hmm.
just with her cuteness.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to have her. But let me tell you, I've spent some money on that dog. For me, she's part of my family. So I definitely will be spending what she needs. And I think that when you're going to get a pet, you got to think about that. And a lot of people want a pet, and your kids want pets. They want
Oh
pets
yeah.
so much. So you really should sit down and think about what your pet needs are. Like maybe you can't afford a dog, but maybe you could afford a hamster,
Yeah.
which, they're cute. I had hamsters. They were really cute. Maybe guinea pigs, bunny rabbits.
Mm.
Think about the lifespan of your animal too. And I think we talked about this once before when we were discussing about purchasing a car or something. You have to look at when you're purchasing a pet, it's a long term commitment. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
adding it to your cash flow, you need to think about your long term cash flow, not just what's happening in your life right now. So, say right now you rent a place. Where we live, it's difficult to rent when you have a pet, much,
Yeah.
much more difficult. And they have added expenses. Where I currently am living, it costs $70 per month additional to your rent to have a dog.
That's monthly is crazy. A
Right.
monthly cost for a pet?
Yep. That's the monthly cost for the pet. But then in addition to that, there are pet deposits. And some people, $500, $700, $1,000 for a deposit for your pet to
Ours
live
was
in a
300.
rental. So 300. So, and that's a one time, it's 300 and they keep it.
Yep.
Yeah. And let me just tell you, you're probably not getting it back. They'll call it a pet deposit, but you're not getting it back.
No, no.
Because
And
they're
that's
going to
fine.
say that it was something for cleaning, additional carpet cleaning. We had to spray, whatever.
One of the things I was going to mention about extra expenses that most people don't take into account, and honestly, we didn't forecast it enough, was boarding costs whenever we travel. Now,
Yeah.
like, we're young. Yeah, we have a little one, but we're young. We still want to go out and go visit people, want to go visit family. You're responsible to have your dog somewhere. You can't just leave your dog alone without you for a week. That's not okay. It ends up being $500, $600 every boarding.
Yeah.
Just
So
prepare
that's
for it.
additional costs that should be put into your travel expenses. So when you're talking to your financial advisor, oh, we're going to go on this great trip and it's going to be a 10-day trip and all that. Oh, yeah. And you have 3 cats and a dog. And how much is your pet sitter going to cost?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And is the pet sitter going to come and take care of your house as well? Or are you going to board them? And so that's another thing about pets. Do they fit into your lifestyle?
That's very
So
true.
I think that people need to also realize that you're right. It's a big change to have a pet in your life. Does it fit in? Are you going to give it what it wants? And once you get it, don't say, I don't have time for it now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't keep it, because when your dog is sitting at home waiting for you all day, if they weren't there and they were in the shelter, they'd be sitting in a little concrete cell all day.
Yeah.
So, I think your dog would rather be sitting at home knowing that you're going to come home at the end of the day. And maybe you don't have a lot of time for me, but hopefully you're going to make some and take them out and play with them. A lot of times people want to get a pet for their kids, and the kids may be getting older, or they've always had a dog. We've always had a dog, right? And we're kind of those people where we've always had a dog. But if you're getting another pet and your kids are getting ready to leave, is that going to fit into your lifestyle once
That's
your
very
kids
true.
go?
There's still a lot of people buying bred dogs for different reasons.
Yes.
If it's temperament, if it's because of a certain kind of breed that they want. I mean,
Yeah.
But we do need more buying from the shelters. But bred dogs are more expensive. You're going to have to take into account that expense. But then
That's
buying
true.
a dog, I've always thought about it this way. Wherever you live, you should think about the climate that you live in for the dog that you are buying. If you are living in hot areas, don't buy a husky that's going to be outside burning up all day. Like that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sad how much people don't think about the breed. That's a good point. You need to research the breed, because different breeds of dogs have different temperaments, they have different needs, they have different exercise needs, they have different climate needs. Some are really prone to allergies.
Mine has acid reflux.
Oh my goodness.
He's an old
Well,
man.
not only that, but yours also has other needs, and that's something else. So let's go a little bit more onto the expenses of an annual expenses of a dog, because yours has grooming needs.
I
Hair.
groom him myself.
Oh, good. But a lot of people don't have the time, or, they don't know how to do
It's
it or
a
whatever.
lot.
So, because there is some knowledge there, right? So if your dog is going to require grooming, so any dog that has hair, right? The poodles, there's some other breeds that are hair dogs. They need to have grooming, and grooming is what, $100 to $200 per time, depending on where you live.
It's mostly 200 because, and then they'll upcharge you if there's matting underneath. And I'll be honest, anytime you have a poodle mix, if you don't brush that dog every single day, their undercoat is going to have mats in it, and there's nothing you can really do about it unless
So there you
you're
go.
so super diligent. So
Right.
know that that's going to tack on an extra expense because they're going to pay you for undoing the mats, and then that'll go on top.
And how often do you have to groom your dog? Like, is it every couple months, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
They recommend, and now I do it based off season. So I let him go longer in the winter when it's colder. So he gets usually longer hair by now. So it's probably more like 3 months in the winter, but it's no more than 2 months really in the summer. I try to,
So
sometimes
if
I'll
it's
shave him down pretty low.
$200,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're talking about you're grooming him like 4 to 5 times a year.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
I would say I mean, this year I had knee surgery, so it was probably more like 3 to 4 times a year this year.
Right.
But I will say that what we did, which was super smart, was we bought the grooming tools ourselves, which were $200 flat. And I just spend $15 at a local place that lets me, it's $15 to bathe and groom him myself.
Right.
It's not per hour. It's just a flat fee. And I go in there and they've got a nice little table that I can put him up on and like hook his collar up to it. And I can do the grooming myself. I can book it for 4 hours, which is about how long it takes to groom him. 3 to 4 hours.
Oh my goodness. So 4 hours. That's a long time. But
It
other
was-
people might not have that. But that's another expense you have
That's a
to
doodle
add.
mix, though. That's a doodle mix.
Right. Okay. But that's an expense. Licensing is an expense, and then you have regular maintenance shots. Those are also annual costs. Your flea medications are annual costs.
Those
My
aren't
dog
cheap
has
either.
allergies. Research all the things you're going to need for your dog. If it's a grooming dog or if it's not, if you can just bathe it. I had Alaskan Malamute, by the way. A lot of hair everywhere.
Hair everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, just bags full of hair. But she was a great dog. Anyway, so you need to research the breed, see if it fits into your life. Think about long term, right? Dogs' lifespan, smaller dogs have longer lifespans, so that's part of your research. And then get a dog or a cat. The same thing goes for a cat, guinea pig, all of those animals. Any animal you're getting, you're going to want to do all this, and then put it in your cash flow and talk about it and add the boarding costs to your cash flow. Right. So you can have clarity.
I know I will say that it does seem like we've talked a lot about the expenses of pets, which is true. We did. But I will say that the joy of having a dog has outpaced any amount of expenses. I've had late night visits in the ER, with pneumonia for my dog, which was crazy, super expensive, but I would trade in a heartbeat for the joy that he brings our family. He's a lovable couch potato that loves to just cuddle up with you, and it just brings so much joy. It's the best.
I agree. It's the best kind of unconditional love.
Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you have questions about pets, you can actually talk to us. You can meet with Peggy at financesforreallife.com. You can also find us on Instagram at financesforreallife. And then you can also keep following this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We hope you have a great day. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Finances for Real Life, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.